Hello everyone, and today I'll be teaching you guys how to structure a TOK presentation. I'm not the best at TOK, but I'm not so bad at it. So here is the basic structure for a presentation. So starting with everything off, you need a real life situation. So you can get this real life situation from personal experience, from a news article, from actual event that happened like 1,000 years ago. But the key thing is it has to be real life, or make it seem like it's real life if it's a personal example. You can normally get these off like TEDx or many different newses. So yeah, you need a real life situation. So linking to this real life situation, you will need a personal and global significance. So why is this particular real life situation worth exploring and investigating? If you have two people in your group, you have to say why. Right? What's the significance for you? So after you have these two done, you'll need an extraction of the knowledge question. So let's say your real life situation is about something, you have to have a question about the real life situation, and then a general question, and finally a TOK knowledge question, which is a to what extent, blah 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 blah. So this extraction process is useful, but you don't have to include it in your presentation. And finally, after that, you will need a few AOKs, area of knowledge, or ways of knowing to focus your analysis on, that is explored in the knowledge question. And why? Like, why have you chosen such? Is it to compare and contrast the different AOKs? So, but if you have a way of knowing, like if you contrasted two ways of knowing within your knowledge question itself, that's really good itself. No need for anything else. But if it's a general sort of question, like something about beliefs, like absolute truth, like patterns, you will need to focus on AOKs and WOKs and justify why. After that, I normally include my assumptions and definitions of the key terms in the question being the knowledge question, and finally the body. So this is repeated 3 times normally, or 2 times, depending on how many AOKs or WOKs you choose to focus on. So you have a claim, which is usually similar to or one-sided of the to what extent, and then you have an example to support your claim, right? It has to be real life, of course. And finally, a counterclaim, which can be done by blurs, which is bias, limitations, uncertainty, reliability, and subjectivity, or by different perspective and how two people might look at it in a different way. And if possible, an example to support the counterclaim, although this is not always needed. And finally, a response. So within that area of knowledge focus, what is your verdict, right? And you have to link back to the knowledge question each time around and link back to the real life situation. And this is done 3 different times. Once you have done this 3 different times, you have to have a brief recap from all of the 3 mini conclusions or responses. So you can say, in area of knowledge arts, the conclusion is blah 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 blah. In area of knowledge natural sciences, the conclusion is similar or different, and say why. And in area of knowledge social sciences, it's blah 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 blah. And then with all of those 3 separate responses or many conclusions, you say, what is your answer towards the final verdict of the knowledge question? And then what are the limitations in the conclusion of your answer? And finally, which is really important, you apply that conclusion back to the real life situation and analyze the pros and cons. And then the final step is implications. So you put your conclusions to the test with other real life situations. So for example, if you state that in this world there is like no absolute truth whatsoever, if that's your conclusion, you could probably say that everyone in the world is the same. They think the same way. Everyone in the world is different and it's unique. See, that's the implications if you put it to other tests. If you put your conclusions, what does it mean outside your real life situation scenario? You could put it to test with other real life situations, or a different focus. If your real life situation is about, I don't know, biology, you could put it to test with history and see if the implications that arises. So this is the general gist of the TOK presentation, and hopefully you guys do well in your TOK presentation.